She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies
Give me every little detail.
of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Good morning, good life. Welcome back to Detail Therapy. You know what? I just want to acknowledge you right in here, right now. Yes, you listening to this with your earbuds or on your commute or on your walk, your treadmill, whatever. I want to acknowledge you because you know what? There's a strong chance that hasn't happened at all for you today. And I know how it feels to kind of want a little bit of acknowledgement. And so I'm going to give that to you because it feels nice to know that someone really sees us. And I see you. I see you. I see you if you've been messaging me that we published one episode of season 7 and then took a little break again. Life is challenging right now. I see you when you're commenting on my social media. I see you when you're not doing any of those things and you're thinking about something that you watched and whether or not it applies to you today. I acknowledge you for pressing play today, for deciding that this little snippet's going to be a part of your day that matters to you. I acknowledge you for that. Every single time you do something to better yourself, please remember that it matters. Do not take away from those little steps that you take every day when you mess up. When things don't go the way you know they should go because you should have handled it better, or you should have planned for it better, or you should have tried a little harder, it doesn't mean that the work you have put in counts for nothing. So I want to acknowledge you for that today. I do not want you to feel like you are never enough. You are. And that's how we're going to start. And whether or not this episode feels like a fit for you or not, I want you to have that acknowledgement. If you read the title of this podcast, you're probably thinking, oh, I don't need a fan base. I don't need a community. I don't need an audience. Well, that's okay. You may think that. But if we are going after the lives that we want, there are steps we need to take to get attention. The attention we need in order to convert those results. This could be building a business, this could be selling a product, or it could be much simpler. I just need to get a job. I just need to win over HR. I just need to have the right resume. All of these things have to do with the psychology of who we're talking to and really sitting in someone's seat. Every time you tell yourself a story about how you can't or how you have not yet or how somebody else has and so you cannot or it's been taken from you, every time you tell that story, how much are you talking to yourself about you rather than deflecting the conversation about everyone else? That's what I want you to start with the mindset on. But I really just wanted to jump on quickly and talk about this. It's very simple, how to build a super fan base. This analogy came to me. This is an analogy that has bothered me for so long. Just I shouldn't say the analogy bothers me, the actual conversation, which I know you have had with someone, so wait for it. It bothers me so much, and yet it makes so much sense as to what we're talking about today. So think about your favorite streaming network. I actually just watched the Emmys the other night, and I forgot how much I love award shows. I love how hokey they are. I love how funny and not funny that they are. I love watching all the screw-ups with production. I love it. I live for it. I totally forgot how much I enjoyed it. So that was a reminder of joy for me the other night. And it got me thinking about, my goodness, like the heavy hitters these days are not normal television. It's like Apple TV Plus and Hulu. Actually, Hulu didn't win anything, but HBO Max and all these different things, right? And we have our networks that we love, Netflix, and we're like, I got to get back on Netflix. I got to catch up on the Netflix. I need to watch all of the Netflix. And we're not having a productivity conversation today. We're talking about the psychology of that. Now, here's the conversation. Think of your favorite show and think about what episode it was when it became your favorite show. Was it your favorite show when you saw the logo or the advertisement? I could argue that The Crown was my favorite show before I saw an episode of it, but that's neither here nor there. Was your moment where it became your favorite show on the first episode? Okay, now here's the conversation that I was talking about earlier that bugs me. Here's what I'll say to somebody that says, oh my goodness, you know what the best show ever was? Breaking Bad. And I go, yeah, I really just couldn't get into it. Like I got to episode 2-ish, probably 1.5. And I just wasn't feeling it. To which this person, who is a super fan and understands, because they know the moment they became that super fan, what do they say in response? Let me give you a little time to guess. You're probably right. The answer is, oh my gosh, Amy, no, you don't understand. You don't, listen, you're going to try it again, but you got to get to season 2, episode 5. And then it will absolutely take over your life. But then don't bother watching the last season because they totally screwed it up. But everything else, you're going to be obsessed. That conversation bothers me so much. Let's unpack that. First of all, you're telling me I need to watch, I don't even know, I'll be honest, I don't know how many episodes are in a season, so forgive me for the rough estimation, but let's go on the Crown measurement of 1 hour, 10 episode seasons. You're asking me to watch 15 hours of content for a show I am unsure about in advance, with the promise that I'm then going to potentially throw away 40 hours of my life. Let's just talk about why that bothers me from a productivity level, but we're not talking about that today. But why is that the conversation we have every time? Someone tells us you have to give it a certain amount of time and then you'll be a fan. You'll be hooked. You'll get it. You'll join the ranks. You'll know what we're all laughing about. You'll recite the funny lines. You will love it. We can talk about why that's bothersome from a productivity level, but instead, why does that matter? Why is everyone saying that? I'll tell you why. Because it takes time. To be a super fan, to have so much gratitude for the existence and appearance of something in your life, to get to that point, you have to be emotionally involved. You have to be. It is what marketers are trying to figure out. It is what brands are trying to figure out. It is what influencers are trying to figure out. We're all looking for that emotional strike. And that is what will create fandom. But then you have to do it 8 times in a 1 hour period. And then 8 times every time you show up for that 1 hour period, right? You're constantly having to up the ante and you're constantly having to build that connection. Forget, outdoing yourself. It's the consistency. It's showing up, it's delivering on the promise, it's making that connection. So if you're one of the people listening to this episode and you're thinking, I can't figure out why no one likes my Instagram, or I can't figure out why no one's subscribing to me on YouTube, it must be the algorithm. It must be because someone's already creating identical content in this space. There's the deflection. Why is it about everyone else? Are you actually not watching The Crown or The Handmaid's Tale or Hacks or Ted Lasso because there's already other content out there that's competing with it? Absolutely not. There's enough stuff to go around. There's enough attention to go around. There's enough content to go around. There's enough money to go around. It's all about what you're doing in your ecosystem to emotionally trigger. So although I am quite bothered by someone who tells me I need to watch 15 hours of content in order to fall in love with something, I believe them. I believe them. Which is why I probably only will watch the first 1.5 episodes if I'm like, nope. But if you have a podcast, if you have a community that you want to build, if you have an effort, if you have a resume and a potential to go after the life you want in whatever capacity that looks like in your work, whose attention do you need to get? And guess what? There's a million, maybe a billion other people or brands or campaigns or games or Netflixes or whatever already trying to get that person's attention. So consistency and showing up and giving them a reason to get committed, including word of mouth. You gotta watch the show. That's all on you. So stop getting so in your head about how perfect it needs to be, how high production it needs to be, how you haven't done your makeup yet today. We're all using filters. Get on board, okay? Unless you are promoting flawless skincare, makeup, you should be using a filter if you are. That's the only reason why you're not posting. I love the beauty people who refuse to use a filter because they want to be honest with their audiences. I'm talking about the rest of you guys. If it comes down to, I didn't talk to my community today because I didn't have the perfect lighting, we got problems, okay? We invest in multiple $1,000 computers that fit in our pocket that are solving these problems for us. If we're going to invest in that, we need to use it. If you want to create the fandom, it's how you make someone feel. I can promise you that the tiniest minutia percentage of that equation is your lighting or your makeup or your hair or your designer clothes. The tiniest bit. Who are you? Why should we care? And keep reminding us because we have a very short attention span. I really hope this was helpful for you. I know how surface level creating a fan base sounds. No matter how well you connect with yourself and your lack of need of approval of the outside world, we all say we don't need it. We all struggle a little bit with what the actual feeling is for us, no matter how good you are at that. We all need a little attention and fan base to create our goals in real life. Bring them to life. So stop just sitting in your own seat thinking about how everything's not going according to plan and continue to show up like you're the longest reigning Netflix series of all time. And someone's bound to get on board by season 7 because you're just still there. Okay? Staying power is so big. That is what I had to share with you today. I want to tell you a little something about detail therapy. And this office. I may not be a doctor, but there is a copay. And that copay is I show up and I deliver for you because I adore you. I love you. I want the world for you. And in return, you share the love with your community because you know when you give and you are kind, that is the strongest act of happiness that you could possibly make today. And if this was helpful for you, it might be helpful for someone you know as well. So please share the show. Please invite someone to join this community. And I really appreciate it if you do. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. See you back here on the next one. Cheers.